Hello, I'm Rachel Jones for Kalkine Media. Welcome to another edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks. In this edition, I'll be chatting with Tracy Ho, Managing Director and founder of Frame and Fame, a personal branding and executive coaching company. Welcome to our show, Tracy.
Hello, Rachel. Thank you for having me today.
I'm very interested to hear more about Frame and Fame. So, Tracy, how do you manage to improve clients' personal brand and also elevate their executive presence through your company?
Thank you, Rachel. I would say personal branding, regardless you like it or not, you have a brand. Everybody has a brand. And I can share a little bit why I got inspired to start a personal branding firm. When I started, nobody said it would, worth a business idea. But in fact, this is something that nobody talked about, right? In a corporate life, in your entrepreneurial life, regardless in a public or private enterprise, you need to exert your presence to be recognized. So then how we support executives, managers, or business owners, now we have I would say, full suite of services from image to communications to their demeanor. We call it be seen, be heard, and be known. From image consulting to communication training, help them to present their ideas with clarity, confidence, and a compelling manner, to all the way a mindset shift. That is how coaching comes in. We work with these executives to build up the executive presence through how they would conduct themselves, how they can become more culturally sensitive, no matter being more empathetic leader or be more decisive leader. At the end, it's how they want to make their influence, how they want to make an impact in the workplace and the industry.
It sounds fascinating. So, Tracy, at the moment, what are your most in-demand services?
Thank you, Rachel. As you know, everybody got impacted by a certain degree by the COVID pandemic in the past 1.5 or even 2 years. So then one of our signature services is we call strategic brand building and LinkedIn revamp services. We sit down with, communicate executives, no matter in person, virtually, and then we hear, their ambition. We always start from a need. I always say when you want to leverage personal branding, you want to have an idea where you want to be. And our role is support these people to rise to the next level. And then after we sit down with them, we hear their ambition, their personality. That is the core elements of personal branding. We always say that it's not a good use of your time to study how others build a brand, because everybody is different. So we spend time with the individuals, listen to what they want to achieve, and then our job is to help them articulate and present the idea so then their audience can get it right away. We always say that you only have X seconds or even less to leave an impression with your audience. So how can you grasp that chance online and in person? Then after we shape the narrative, we will bring to the channels. Nowadays, most of our LinkedIn, and half of them maybe also go to other social media networks like Instagram to be visualized as a brand.
So how, in your opinion, Tracy, could personal branding fast track one's career? I mean, you mentioned LinkedIn there. How important is it to build on your image for your career?
Thank you, Rachel. As I mentioned, personal branding exists for, as long as human history exists, but it has only become a new idea. It's still being considered as one of the soft skills to know and master in the 21st century. How can personal branding help with your career growth? It comprises with, as I mentioned, the mindset shift. It starts from your mind. If you do not have an idea how to strategize your career, it will not be easy to move on. So we always say the journey starts from yourself. Are you ready? Then, do you know how and when and what to say to assert your presence? It comes with conciseness as well as consistency. Very often we see people that, maybe just today they want to be seen as a leader, but tomorrow in front of any crisis or hiccups, then they change. So that's why consistency matters. After you work on your mindset, it's time to work on your demeanor. Nowadays, we work in a multicultural environment. So a big part of our work is to work with these executives and managers and business owners to understand cultural differences, be sensitive to it, so that you can lead multi-generation and multi-nationalities in the same workplace. And to answer, the next point of your question is, how can these personal branding tools to upscale your career? My question is, have you ever found difficult to be recognized? Nowadays, we are no longer graduates that we compete by GPA, right? We compete by our achievements, but not only our achievements, it's how your seniors, how your clients, how investors perceive the thing you do. And that is where personal branding helps.
Now, you do have some training workshops offered by your company. What can you tell me about those?
Thank you, Rachel. We have, as I mentioned, we have a suite of services. We still package under 3 tier. The first tier is be seen. In how you want to be seen as the leaders, we have image consulting workshops. And then we also have web development. We looked at your layout, your brand identities, for example, logos, name cards, and nowadays even your portraits. So we work with individuals in group setting or individual settings to prepare them to provide some their photos. Then the second tier is the most demanded training of ours. It's communication. Speaking of communication, it involves a range of topics. One of the high demand would be multicultural communications in the workplace. The second would be international business etiquette. Again, etiquette and image, they are topics that people expect you to know. But to be honest, some leaders or managers, they would need to, for example, review how they're doing and then discuss in a very safe environment what their vulnerabilities are. So these could be done in a training platform. And then we also have the bread and butter, including, for example, storytelling, presentation as medium Q&A type of trainings. Then the highest level, we call it online presence, right? How you exert your presence online through social media, how to strategize, optimize, and make the best use of your LinkedIn, on your social media, or even search engine to be found as the person you want to be seen. Then the last one will be the executive presence. I think we're happy that now we really own the space on personal branding and executive presence here. That when you think about personal branding, you come to us. We work with people in a group setting, from talking about creating your story and visualize your ideas. And then in a group setting, we share and exchange ideas, how that perception being perceived live. So that will be very, very powerful for whoever participates in these workshops.
And Tracy, what are your near-term goals at Frame and Fame?
I learned when I start my business, I always say it's like raising a baby. Okay, of course, if you raise a baby, you want it to grow happily and healthily, same as a business. At this stage, for the past 2 years or so, we got impacts, of course, in certain extent by COVID. So then we spent time to revamp our brands, revamp our services. So now we got some fruits. We got demands coming again. It's very, very encouraging. The next step is we want to strengthen our online offering to work with people across the border. So then we don't need to be bound by any geographies constraint. And the secondly is to include. We want to work more with corporates. Individuals are our key clients for now since the past 5 years or so. But nowadays we see more demand from companies. Interestingly, when we talk about executive presence, many companies, no matter they are regional size or global size, they realize some of the, for example, second tier or even third tier leaders need to change the mindset, specifically after COVID. You want to relate by being a human instead of by assigning a task. So we see there's a potential there for us to, get some low-hanging fruits.
It's been fabulous to chat to you today, Tracy. Thank you so much for all your information you've given us there.
Thank you, Rachel. It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much. And that's Tracy Ho, founder and managing director of Frame and Fame Personal Branding. And if you missed any part of that chat, you can catch the full interview on our YouTube channel, Kalkine Media. So make sure to subscribe. I'm Rachel, reminding you to stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.